Welcome to the Magic Academy, School of Nookcraft and Dungeon Dream. We've a story here to tell. Roll your dice and sip some ale. We have every part of the world to see. Through magic and mystery, abjuration, alteration, conjuration, invocation, illusion, evocation, much to learn. We have everything. Only the strong survive the night. Let's get ready for the fight. Explore fantasy today. The Academy, it awaits. And don't be shy, time to start a quest. Build your confidence and experience. Welcome to the Magic Academy, the School of Nookcraft and Dungeon Dream, who wage a battle until the end. Encounters you'll have to defend. It's up to you to stories to send us to the place that is mystery, full of laughs and carefree. Grab the bard, be on guard. Eldritch blast, enchantment cast, pick an ally. Hide your books, are you ready? We have everything. Only the strong survive the night. Let's get ready for the fight. Welcome to the Magic Academy, School of Nookcraft and Dungeon Dream. Get ready, our academy. The dungeon awaits you.
Hi everyone, welcome in. I am the Tipsy Tiger. I am your dungeon mommy and your enchantment professor, and this is Magic Academy. Thank you all for being here tonight for the penultimate session of All's Fair in Love and War. I cannot believe we are already here. Seems like only yesterday I was freaking out about running my first ever game on stream, but we're here. We've lost some people along the way. Raise a glass of water. But it's so good to have you guys here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the big scroll. Hello, Leaked Prism, showing up in the chat a half hour early to the surprise of absolutely no one who knows him. Thank you, Leaked Prism, for redeeming our first. And then I saw, of course, our cast is in here. I saw, don't forget to contribute to that short Evil D&D series challenge. Thank you all who have been donating. I see that Lore's mama is in the chat, having redeemed her daily crystal. Hi, Mom. We love you.
Hi, Mom. I love you.
Ranger Sheep. Thank you so much, Ranger, for being here. Churney, our wonderful audio person. We also have Knights of Silver Moon. So good to have you in the chat, and welcome to hearing the theme song for the first time. We love you. We're glad that you're here. And also, I see that Charlie isn't a weirdo, also redeemed their daily crystal. Good to see you, Charlie, as always. Thank you for being here. If I missed anyone, feel free to scream, "God damn it, Tipsy, you missed me," in chat. I will happily respond. But we are at the penultimate of this game. So let's go ahead and do some quick announcements before we dive into it. First things first, tomorrow we are going back into Odyssey of the Dragon Lords with episode 4. We've been given a whole bunch of threads to chase. We'll see which ones we decide to go down. Maybe they're Fates threads, going with the theme. But that is at 6 o'clock Central tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. Speaking of Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, on our Patreon, we just dropped our Kreia preamble. Kreia is played by the wonderful Evelyn sometimes. And Kreia's preamble is now available on Patreon to our Patreon subscribers. Please don't miss it. These preambles were very fun to record. And I also need to listen to most of them. So I also need to do that. And I'm very excited. So don't miss that. The last thing to promote is starting on Saturday. We are doing Hobbits for a Cause. We're working with nonprofits to bring attention to these wonderful organizations by playing the One Ring TTRPG series. And quite a few of us here are at that table, including someone who has never played at the Magic Academy table before. So we're very excited to get started with that adventure at 12 o'clock Central on Saturday the 27th. Also, thank you, Circle DM, for the follow at the Academy. We are glad that you are here. But I see a message. Hello. Also, hello, Mist. I missed Mist. Oh, Well, of course, now I can say I missed Mist, and we have that at least. Mist, our wonderful sound engineer for Odyssey. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we love having you here. I believe that is all the bits of announcement business that we have to cover. I believe I have caught up with the majority of the chat. And so we're going to start with a quick recap. Last time we found our heroes, they were in the thick of battle. Heracles being played by our wonderful Magic Sheep, Heracles being not so wonderful, played by our wonderful Magic Sheep, decided he was not only a traitor to the cause, but also was going to brutally murder Minerva. Thankfully, Medea happened to dimension door into the barracks and was there to assist. Minerva unfortunately fell in battle, but not before taking out a big chunk of Heracles' life, which allowed Medea to cast the power word kill spell, killing him instantly. Though Heracles warned, there was very little they knew, and there was something waiting for them on the other side. In the meantime, Achilles and Persephone faced off against General Zevestra and Achilles' mother Thetis. Persephone immediately made a move to go and fly into Cliffshire Woods, thinking this battle was completely unwinnable, and ended up finding the magical MacGuffin, which we'll get to in a second. In the meantime, Achilles ended up fighting Thetis and was soon joined by a newcomer, Cernunnos, the horned god himself, now played by Sweetenlore. He is also a celestial turncoat and had been a part of the Infernal Camp for quite some time, ended up joining the battle as a druid barbarian and making quite a dent in his saber-toothed tiger form. As Medea ended up paying her respects to Minerva, who disintegrated into a pile of dust and flew away as if cheating death somehow. Medea joined the rest of the group, and it turned out that Achilles managed to convince his mother that he was not to be dissuaded and that one of them was going to leave the battle alive if she didn't leave. With a 28 persuasion check, Thetis was convinced and did leave the battle, leaving a greatly injured Zevestra to run away with her tail between her legs. As this was going on, Persephone in her great eagle form found Hecate chasing down a battered Juno who was carrying a glowing orb. Juno, who did not know of her daughter's death, was saying that she needed to give the magical orb to her daughter, which was grabbed by Persephone with Hecate's help. Persephone brought back the orb, and it turned out it was a teleportation orb to Rapturalia itself, the heavenly plane, and the four heroes ended up deciding that it was time to finally go into the belly of the beast. That is where we are now. And I would like to take a moment to describe Rapturalia for the first time before handing it over to our heroes. We are currently in Celestine, one of the 5 stretches of Rapturalia, which is heaven, or the celestial plane. Celestine is the home of Fauna, the archfey of chaos in nature and the joy that can be found in natural settings. In fact, whenever the archfey Fauna appears, she is always precedented by a maniacal but gleeful laugh. The world is covered in trees, lush and full of leaves and blossoms. There are waterfalls cascading over almost too perfectly rounded of silver stones. But among this idyllic landscape, several large animals wander, the celestial hunting grounds, as it were, as larger than life elk and bears and birds of prey wander the plains. Those celestials who inhabit here usually were hunters who fell in life or people who came here knowing how to work the land itself, as the beautifully lush and always brown and damp earth of Celestine produces beautiful foliage and wildlife, from wildflowers to rich crops. We are in a clearing of trees, as these 4 people stand with a cabin looming in the distance. You see that the trees have parted in a semicircle as if opening like a curtain. These large, almost redwood-like trees, almost too tall, though of course we're in Rapturalia. There's probably no such thing. And all of them bearing either fruit or flowers or beautiful foliage. And with that said, we look at the 4. And we're actually going to take a moment in this peaceful realm to step back. Laura, I would like you to take off your Carnunos hat and inhabit one more time the mind of Minerva. And I'm going to let you guys take it from here.
Okay, who wants to go first? I've made trauma for all of you.
Oh boy. Who would you like to go first? Because when I did it, I did come up with a very specific order, but you
Doofus has to go last.
okay?
I know that for sure. Doofus has to go last. So let's see here. It's okay, guys. I'm a professional. I have my dice set already.
You're totally fine. While you're doing that, I just want to welcome in Iron Trout, and I do want to thank Ranger Sheep for being a part of our notification squad. I do believe we'd have a few more places in that. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's see here. So you know, we're gonna go in order of wholesomeness from. We're gonna go in order of wholesomeness. So we're gonna start with Persephone. And what you guys are gonna see is it as we kind of take this step back. We're back at the Infernal Camp, but this time we're watching Minerva and Persephone are just kind of sitting off to the side watching, well, boys will be boys, Jason and Achilles wrestling in the grass, probably doing combat sparring, but at this point we're not really sure. We're supposed to be doing group exercises, but instead it's rather it's a rather serene moment for the four of them, and Minerva just kind of leans back. You know, she's sitting on a log and she crosses her leg, and as she does, she's just idly flipping through her book. She looks over Persephone. You know, I never thought that you and I would be able to achieve this moment together. I was pretty convinced you were just here to kill us.
Everybody was convinced I was ready to kill y'all.
I mean,
Burbu saved me from that death that probably would have happened.
Well, I mean, I think in Burvu's own right, I think that Burvu kind of saved us all. I know that if it wasn't for them, well, I certainly don't know where I would have been. But Persephone, I can't tell you how grateful I am that we've made this connection. I don't have a lot of friends here, and I can honestly say that you are one of my true friends.
I appreciate that. The only other friend I really feel like I have here is Achilles, and that's really hard.
Yeah. I can understand that. I felt for a long time. I still feel disconnected from Victoria and Odos after everything we've been through. They lied. Tragedy does not bring you together. It pushes you apart. It tugs at your heartstrings. It pulls friends to ends of the earth where you'll never see them again. So I'm glad that everything we've been through, you know, that you're still here with me.
I'll be here as long as you want me here.
And Min would actually lean over. Yeah. Min would lean over, and it's like that awkward, I'm not a physically touchy person, but do you want a hug?
Sure.
Like,
it's like that awkward side hug.
Yeah, and Min's just gonna kind of like lean her head on Stephanie's shoulder, and it's kind of a silly picture when you think about it. Min's like this. She's the smallest one of the group, and this, like as their hair kind of mixes, like our hair totally gets tangled. Right, Min's hair is super fucking curly, and it all just kind of like makes a big mess everywhere. But in that moment, they're genuinely like the threads of fate have actually woven them together. And it's a very peaceful moment in the midst of this war. And that just like that moment itself kind of fades itself back out. um oh, my heart's breaking already.
I
my,
think this is more traumatic for you than it is for me.
my heart's breaking. I'm so sorry, guys.
We want to do memories for men.
don't let me be in charge.
Wait, you're in charge.
I'm the DM now. Anyway,
Well, shoot. All right, bye, guys. It was nice being here.
No, I can run this campaign. No. So next is Medea. And this in this Medea, what kind of frames your mind as the four the four of the you guys. This is weird. This is a weird out of body experience. As the four of you like enter, and you open the door to Curtin's cabin, but your mind is elsewhere. You are sitting in the strategy room, actually. Just kind of thinking, we've been poring over maps for days. We have made neither head nor tail of what's going on, but as you flip through these maps, a letter falls out and it is addressed to you. And on the front in red ink is just the biggest M you have ever seen. And when you open it, it is a request to meet actually at the restaurant where we met the first night. It is, and it's a request. I know that this is a bit unconventional, but I'm hoping that you will meet me here. And it's got a timestamp, and at the bottom is signed in a gold M.
Ooh. I mean, Medea will not respond to the invitation, but will show up at the appointed time.
Feels appropriate. That feels appropriate. So, Medea, when you show up to this restaurant, right, it does not have happy memories for really any of us involved. And as you scan, your eyes are gonna fall on this one, oddly enough, a hooded figure. Like, that's really out of place here. It's a very luxurious restaurant. There's gold inlay and blacks and reds decorate the whole place, but it's a very small statured person hunched over the bar, kind of with a hood pulled up, but when they turn their head to the side, kind of like to look, you still catch that the jingle of the charms.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got her she's got like big sunglasses on, like you can't, like, she's trying to hide from people.
Very Audrey Hepburn.
I mean,
Medea will approach and sit next to her and say, I must admit, I was surprised to receive your invitation, especially considering I was in the process of planning one of my own.
well, I mean, I feel like it's a high time we talked. I'm tired of people talking about us and thinking that they know things.
That's the thing when it comes to being close to someone like Jason. Being with a hero is difficult. You will certainly learn that in time. Not only is he full of himself, he has a right to be, because everyone else seems to be obsessed with him for some reason.
That's unfortunately true. It certainly does make things a little more difficult. However, it's not lost on me still that he's full of himself too. And I would rather, when the time comes, you and I be on the same side. I don't want to work against you of all people.
I think that would be wise. We will be better off if we are at least civil allies. Friends would be preferable, but you. Jason has had his dalliances over the years. People like to pretend that I'm a victim of his infidelity, but that is so far from the truth. If I wanted it to stop, it would end immediately. You're interesting to me in a way that none of the others have been. There's something different about you, and I can't quite figure out what it is. And I can't tell if it bothers me or intrigues me. Perhaps a bit of both.
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. Um, I mean, I will say that I certainly did not seek him out. Well, not in the beginning. However, I can't lie to you. So, I don't know how you would like to pursue this moving forward, but and she's gonna slide you a piece of paper, Medea, and you know what this is. This particular sheet of paper, like the information written on it. However, I do think that he can be easily swayed by, just enough ale and another pretty face. Um, and should that time come that he thinks he's too good for either of us, I'm not opposed to putting him in his place permanently.
She's going to read the information on the card. She's going to snap her fingers and turn it to flame. I think she has prestidigitation.
I'll allow it.
She's going to snap her fingers and it's going to burst into flames and quickly, fizzle out into ash, and fall onto the bar below. I think it would be wise for us to have a plan, just in case something will. Jason does not always think things through. Should the worst occur, and granted there are many ways for that worst to occur, many different forms of the worst. I don't even necessarily mean his death. But should the worst happen, and the two of us be left out to dry, we will certainly be better as allies, especially considering I will need protection for my children.
Of course. And Min's gonna just place 5 gold pieces on the counter, and push her stool back. Kind of like straighten her shoulders up. It's a surprise to anybody who recognizes her in the restaurant that she would be hiding herself. But given the nature of their relationship, it's not best to be meeting out in the open. So she's just gonna kind of, well, if you need me, I suppose contact me. However, I do hope I don't hear from you. And she'll turn on her heel and leave. And that just kind of, that so Medea, as that memory fades out, the faded footsteps kind of echo in your head as we walk over dusty abandoned wood floors, and the scent itself is very earthy, very it smells like fresh rain. And as that happens, Achilles, you're hit with possibly the only positive memory you share with Minerva. And it opens with you under a tree, unfortunately, bottle in hand, slurring your words after our very first dinner together. And Min's going to walk up next to you. Really? This is how Heaven's golden boy chooses to spend his evenings.
Oh, the mighty Achilles, trained to be the greatest celestial, only good at killing and drinking.
Well, you act like you had such a life. You don't understand what it's like to be bred for this war. You say that you do, but you're all warriors. You're all the same.
We're not all the same, Minerva. Achilles pulls out another goblet, sets it out next to him, pours a glass. Come join me. You know you want to. All of us little minions. We need our vices. Yours may be Jason, but mine just happens to be in a bottle.
Okay. And she's just kind of like, I flop on the ground for lack of a better explanation. She's wearing the dress of dresses, and now it's muddy. As she just kind of like flops on the ground next to you, and you don't know what it's like. You just don't know. You don't know what it's like to be bred for this war, to be born for this war, and for nothing else.
Oh, princess, you have no idea. I was only conceived for this war. I was only trained for this war. You get to talk to your mother. Mine put a shield in my hand before I could even carry my own bottle.
Talk to my mother. Achilles, dear, you're so naive. I have had maps and books and language placed in front of me from the time that I could speak. Are you kidding me? You think that I had such a happy upbringing?
Oh, but you think I had it so easy, and all of a sudden I just joined the Celestials. My mother put a shield and spear in my hand. My earliest memory is stabbing a doll, being told again, 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 again. He throws the goblet. You think you had it rough. You're not the only one, princess. Trust me, I know. I think what pisses you off is we're more alike than we want to admit. He just takes the bottle, takes a huge chug out of it, and like slams it back down.
Well, that was... First of all, don't call me princess. I know that everybody here calls me Hell's Princess because I'm so good at what I do. But fuck you, Achilles, for thinking that your life is so rough that you have to be over here and just be so full of this angst and hatred that you're on an island. You're right. We are the same. And I fucking hate you for it. Because you act like you have it so hard compared to me because you had to leave the Celestials, you had to leave the heavens. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here, wallowing in this shit. I have been here my whole life, and nobody once has said, "Hey, Min, how are you?" Everybody just wants to know, "Hey, Min, if I put my soldiers over here, how fast are we gonna die? Hey, Min, if I send my warlocks upriver, can they ambush now or do they have to wait until morning?" Not once has somebody come to me and just said, "Hey, Min, do you want to get a drink?" Sure, I'd love to. I would love to be normal for once. And she's gonna she's not very strong, but she's gonna punch you like in the arm, angrily.
Achilles is going to exaggeratedly fall over with that and just stand up with rage in his eyes, look at you. What you think he's about to hit back, and you see him very rarely burst into tears.
Oh, my heart.
You see like him biting his teeth. You have the person you love. You won't know pain till you have to live with that love ripped from you too soon. I respect you. As much as you piss me off, I respect you.
And she's actually gonna like I don't know. I don't remember. You're the drunk one in this, right? I'm not the drunk one. You're the drunk one.
He is incredibly intoxicated.
Which one's the drunk one?
We had to roll for this, and we both rolled incredibly high. I rolled a nat 20, and he rolled a 17.
Oh, yes, we did.
So we're this close. But she's gonna reach up and she's gonna grab you by the end of your shirt and yank you on the ground. With the goblet in her hand, and she's like gonna kind of flop back against you, right? So her back's against your shoulder. And kind of as this memory comes to an end, Achilles, she's just yes, I do have Jason, but you will never understand, or maybe you will, the loss I felt when Perseus was taken from me. That the heartbreak, and I've been torn since then. And as you the two of us just sit under this tree, there's spilled wine, goblets. It starts to rain again, and the rain against the leaves starts to drown out our tears, as that memory kind of just fades back out of your mind.
The sound of the rain mixes into the smell of the petrichor that is coming from the floor of Cornunos's cabin as you are all brought back to the present and we officially say goodbye to our dear Minerva. Now, I'm going to give Laura a little bit of a breather. Thank you so much for leading that. You all enter Cornunos's cabin, which Laura did describe a little bit. Wooden floors smelling of rain and dirt, with a lot of, I would say, a lot of potion elements, things that are there to brew tinctures and tonics laid on shelves. And when, Laura, you've had a moment to breathe from that, I don't want to describe Kern's cabin for you. You are now back to being Kern. So take a deep breath. Welcome in Wylith. And would you please describe where our heroes are currently?
I would love to. So, this cabin, it's a little worse for wear. It has been, it's been unoccupied, I would say, for about 75 years. Wooden floors, wooden walls, everything is covered in moss and ivy. There's some of the plant life has started to spring through the floorboards, and just kind of take over this this house that was left erect in the woods. Outside, you, as we were walking, you guys would have noticed a large boulder, which had been cut, and it had been cut and reshaped to look like a natural workbench. And there were some tools left out that have since rusted over, and that kind of that wet rusted smell kind of follows you into the cabin. The walls are lined with empty potion bottles, glasses with corks and caps of all different shapes and sizes. Some are still filled with dingier looking potions, like almost like they're expired. But as Kern kind of walks in and runs his fingers along the bottles, they all kind of like light up and swirl, almost like they've been restored with that kind of energy. And the corner is just a very small dining room table. It's very simple, but despite his rather hulking appearance and the dark clothing that he wears, you guys find bits of oranges and reds and yellows scattered about. There's a tablecloth and the napkins, and in the corners, the bedspread is a quilt with a very large sun on it. And it by all accounts, does not match Kern's demeanor or personality. And he just kind of walks around, looks up at the hole in the roof. Well, I never did finish patching that. Okay. That's good to know that nobody else has been here. So we should be relatively safe.
Good. Safety is going to be paramount in this realm. We are all, to a certain degree, defectors. Me, probably to the least degree. I was born to celestial family, but we only lived on the material plane. I've heard of this realm. Never visited. My father would tell stories of it.
You're not missing much. It's all just a bunch of grandstands and pony shows. Achilles plops down on the floor.
Well, I certainly don't envy anyone familiar with a place like this. Well, your cabin seems lovely, but I mean the realm itself.
Don't sugar. I know it looks like shit in here. That is what it is. So long as Belle's, and he's gonna like shut up for a second. Never mind. I'm gonna venture out, find some wood, patch the roof. It's not going to do any of us any good if we get sick in here. Although, and he's gonna point just kind of along the wall, and you guys will see that there's like a little row of, they're kind of like mint green bottles. If you do get sick, everybody says that worked for a cold. That wasn't my intention when I made it, but I was, well, was a child, so it's supposed to help.
Thank you.
Kern, are you going out to get wood?
Yeah, and it's just there's like he's got like stacks of logs and stuff that are out behind.
Okay.
He just needs to go shape it up and make like boards.
Yeah, as you walk outside, Kern, you do see that as you lift up your first log, several large insects. We won't go into detail. It's a yellow, but several large insects kind of escape. But this is not an unusual thing. You know, you've left the wood for a little long, and the dampness of the wood, that kind of fresh smell, kind of soothes any about it. You look out, or maybe you're busy at your work, but if one were to look out behind your cabin, it seems like the redwood grove stretches on forever in a never-ending tapestry of woven leaves and gentle branches that look almost too picturesque for someone who is into the chaos of nature. But you do see little moments. Anyone who walks out here will see just little moments of chaos or little moments of the randomness that occurs in nature. A flower blooming suddenly that has finally come out from the sun. A bird singing only to be cut off by a chittering large flying squirrel almost running smack into it. Little comic moments of relief in what has been a very stressful time. Kern, while you are doing that, I would like to, and of course, come in and out as you so wish during this scene. Persephone, Achilles, and Medea, you are left alone in this cabin surrounded by these various potions in a very rare moment of calm.
I think Medea is just going to be like looking at all of the potions on the wall, like reading labels, not touching anything, but just like looking at them. And even if she does read a label, she's not really absorbing any of the information. She is not thinking about any of this. She is worrying about her two sons who are now on a different plane than her, which has never happened. They are 4 and 7, and she is definitely thinking more. She's thinking about them and Jason's mother, who she also likely would have had a contact to keep safe so that at least the boys would have someone familiar. And she's looking at the potion bottles, but she's not like thinking about them.
Achilles is gonna look over towards Persephone and kind of guide his eyes towards Medea. and start walking over there, reach into his bag, and pull out a small carved wooden horse. Shyly walks up to Medea. We've never gotten off on the right foot. Seems like we're too morally and physically opposed on every front there is. And he holds out this horse. I was going to give this to Jason to give to your sons. I want you to take it and promise me you're going to give it to them.
She will delicately take the horse and look at it, and in a very rare moment for Medea, she is not particularly expressive. You don't see a lot of emotion come across her face really ever, but you see a flash of vulnerability is the only way I can describe it, because like there's just too many words that fit into this quick flash of deep emotion, and she's going to hold it close to her chest for a moment. Thank you, Achilles. Jason had a soft spot for you, and as much as you and I may not get along, we are better as allies than as enemies. I appreciate the care you had for him and the care you show for me now.
I appreciate what you were for him, and just know that I will be your shield as long as you need one.
Thank you.
In this moment of calm, Curran, I'm going to say this happens right as you come in with a load of wood. Persephone, roll me a perception check.
No.
Yes!
I don't want to.
I don't wanna!
Sweet emotions. Oh, there's a threat. Cool.
With a load of wood, yes.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Wow. Mhm.
Sure is. What'd you get, Persephone?
What is math? I don't know math.
God knows. Evelyn?
What? What's happening?
Math gay?
You're the math gay.
What do you need me to do? What's the equation?
I got it. It's 28.
Wood
28.
plus perception equals pain.
Persephone, as you stand there in the house being very quiet, you hear a
Oh, fuck.
you recognize this bark.
Is this the bark that I think it is?
Uh-huh.
Do I hear this bark? This is my house.
Go ahead and all of you roll me perception checks.
Oh boy.
I think you all see Persephone just go, what the fuck?
As I'm hearing this bark, I pull out I look at my staff. Is it glowing? Is it not glowing?
It is not glowing.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
24.
You are muted, Achilles.
27.
And what did you say, Minerva? It's not Minerva. Oh god, my heart. Kern.
I got a 24 math.
All of you start to hear the barking now. And it is not like aggressive barking. It is excited barking. What do you do in this moment as the barking seems to get closer and closer?
I
What is
immediately look
that?
at Persephone.
What on earth is that?
Well,
I
last I checked, there were no
literally-
dogs.
I literally walk out the door without saying a single word.
As you watch Persephone walk out the door, Persephone, you are greeted by a slobbery, huge black mastiff, and you are well aware of this dog. It goes, woo! It just bounds up to you with every ounce in its legs and pounces on you, licking your face as if he has not seen you in years. As you see Cerberus just going, just nuzzling you. There's drool everywhere. You may have a brief moment with the dog before I traumatize you.
Sturby, I like push him off. What are you doing here? Wait. And I look at him more seriously. What are you doing here?
He does the thing where dogs kind of go,
Oh, like when they know that they're in trouble and they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they're just like, I didn't do anything.
No.
And at that moment, you see a figure. All of you at the door at this point. Did you follow Persephone, or did you?
Yeah,
let-
my fuzzy ass
Yeah.
waddled outside.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Yes.
standing. I'm probably like everybody else is maybe like stepped slightly outside the doorway, and Medea's standing in the doorway, looking just displeased.
And you see a tall figure begin to approach. As I would like to introduce our guest star to the Magic Academy stage, if we can get our dear guest star, and I will introduce him. You got to turn on your camera, though. Hello, everyone. Can we please give a warm welcome to Circle DM? Thank you so much for being here, Sphinx. Would you please describe the figure who is approaching the cabin after his very sheepish-looking dog?
As you said, he's tall, is wearing a long, dark cloak, which Persephone would know is covering long, dark leather robes covered in black and gold half plate armor with pauldrons. Strapped to his back, there is a what looks like a wicked looking spear. Strapped at his side is a beautifully ornate sword, and in his hand there is a glaive that has its blade wrapped in leather. His hood is up, and his eyes are darkened, but or his the space over his eyes are darkened, but Persephone would be able to see the two spots on his face that are darker than the darkness. That would be his eyes, and he just kind of stands there for a moment, takes one hand, takes the hood off, and you see the face of Hades.
The god Hades.
His
One of the old
dreads
gods.
dreads draped down, framing his face, beard close cropped. It looks like he has seen quite a bit and is just kind of frozen there, staring at Cerberus and Persephone, who's looking uncertain. Like for the first time in a long time, Persephone, he looks uncertain of himself.
In this moment, like facing this like very dramatic reuniting moment, you just see Cerberus is doing the thing where he's running between both of his parents, just like "Whir, whir," just like a large mastiff, like kind of breaking up the moment of just running back and forth, not knowing who to be with in this moment.
I look at Cerberus and I call him to me. And I tell him,
Immediately.
Cerberus, sit.
Boom.
Seems he still has a favorite.
Hades gives a smirk. Well, you did always have a way with him.
The Lord looks so happy right now. I'm sorry.
I'm so hyped. Listen, you don't even understand.
I've
Can I
been
say Achilles runs up to like have shield next to have their shield next to Persephone, just in case.
yeah.
I as a reaction to Achilles running up, I stick my staff directly in front of him.
And
I
Hades
tell
will plant his glaive into the dirt and will raise both hands. I come here in peace. I mean, none of you any harm.
He's telling the truth.
Is he? And I'm gonna. I don't. It's Tater's waddle. I don't really
Yes.
have it any other
Oh.
explanation.
Y'all don't know, or you don't know, and neither does Medea. My staff. I turn to you. My staff says he means no harm.
Okay, well, this is my house, so
Your rules.
no, I'm not. Can we help you? This is my house, and I'm really trying to collect my wife's belongings. So if you don't mind,
I came here to speak to Persephone, if that would be permissible.
Whatever you have to say, you can say in front of them. You can just see the rage in her eyes.
Hades kind of closes his eyes for a moment and takes a breath. I deserve that. I deserve worse.
And what made you come to that conclusion?
Many things, some of which I would like to speak to you about.
I turn to Achilles and the others. If you hear me yell, come to me. Can I have a moment?
I have a shed around back if it's gonna rain. I mean,
Achilles is gonna look at Persephone. If anything happens, yell thieves. Got you.
I know.
I'm gonna give Hades kind of a look of, you've done so much, don't do anything worse, as I walk back into the cabin.
Sorry, I'm gonna roll something real quick. Go ahead.
Persephone, yell if you need us, though I'm certain you can handle yourself. And she's going to glare daggers at Hades before turning around and going back in. Because her husband's dead and she's pissed.
Cerberus tries to follow you in, Medea. For some reason, he is locked onto you as his new favorite person. And he just trots up to you and just goes, wow.
Can I help you?
Wow.
Yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Achilles pulls out a from his pocket like a piece of dried beef. He's like, "Come on, bud."
Make me a persuasion check with advantage. He really likes Medea right now. I rolled to see.
Can I make an animal handling check to like get him to go with Achilles?
like, please leave me be.
Big dramatic entrance. Play with the puppy.
I had to bring some levity into this, okay?
Listen, Circle DM, you're cool. However, there's a puppy in play, so you gotta wait for just a second.
You
Of
brought
course,
a dog.
of course.
I don't know what to tell you.
You brought a dog. I don't
This is
make rules.
expected.
Persuasion is 25.
Okay,
Yeah.
what did you get?
Animal handling is a 15. Go with him. He's more your type.
I would say that you do successfully shoo him off, but it is definitely more the promise of something good to eat that persuades this
Good.
rather large mastiff to go with Achilles.
Whatever gets that creature away from me.
Kern, are you also going inside the cabin?
Okay, so we love this. We love a short king. And he's gonna like square up for a minute, right? He's got his. I wore this on purpose because he does have like that, like the shoulder armor, and he's gonna. If you make a mess of my place, touch my wife's belongings, I'm gonna see to your head, the tip of that. And he's gonna turn around and he's gonna trot back inside it as he does. He does have like a little fuzzy tail, and it does kind of just
I would love before she turns around, or before he turns around, rather, that Hades is going to get down on his knee in front of them. You have my word. I will do you or your home no harm. I am here as a friend, whether you believe that or not.
How tall are you?
Hades is like 6'7".
Yeah, very tall man.
That tracks. I'm 5 feet tall.
Kneeling is still taller.
Yeah, you're still taller while you're kneeling.
Oh my god, Kern and Cray are the same height. I'd love to see these two satyrs interact.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
These two drunk little satyrs.
Crossing the universes.
Yeah, and he's just gonna like trot his little butt inside his little tail does. It's really hard to play an edgy, angry character.
You're like, he's angry and edgy, but also
his tail do a wiggle.
Amazing. The three of you disappear inside and close the door, leaving Hades and Persephone outside.
Hades stands again. You seem to have collected some very loyal, true friends there.
They're more like family. More of the family than you ever were.
Again, you deserve that. And you see like the flash of pain in his face as those words hit him. I'm truly sorry, and I know that those words come far too late. But it does not make them any less true.
Hard to believe it's true when you let everything burn.
I didn't want to be involved in any of this.
And yet you were. You doing nothing still made you involved.
You are right about this. And I don't know what I can say to make up for that. To make up for my inaction. To make up for letting you down. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I am here now.
Why are you here? What do you want?
There are many reasons why I'm here. One, because I cannot stand by any longer. Two, because no matter what transpired between us, you are still the woman I love. And I could not bear to let anything happen to you if I could prevent it.
You see like a flash of like emotion. And you're unsure if it's sadness or anger.
I do not expect for you to feel the same way anymore. It has been quite some time, but I do still love you. And clearly, Cerberus does too. He has missed his mother, as I have missed you.
Cerberus, I don't think Cerberus would ever not love me. And it's obvious he would always choose me over you anyways.
I could not blame him for that. And Hades gives like a brief grin at that. If I were him, I would choose you too.
She sighs and like you can see the heart melt a little bit. She knows you're remorseful and she's not in danger. Her friends are not in danger. Why did you come here?
Because there is something happening that I cannot stop.
And that is?
The end of the Celestial.
As in they're going to lose the war, or as in they're dying out?
There's a dragon that is going to be released. A great solar dragon. It is going to kill the Celestials.
That means you too.
So leaving.
Why doesn't that surprise me? They're abandoning their own people. And you're leaving too.
I do not wish to, but if this war is to be ended, if the Infernals are to be destroyed, it was agreed that this was the way to do so.
Or do they need to be destroyed? Obviously, they're not all bad. Just like not all Celestials are all good.
No. They will wrought chaos across the realms if they are not tempered.
And the Celestials won't.
I wish I had all of the answers. I do not.
What do you want us to do about it? We're not gods.
The slate will be wiped clean of them both. I ask, no. And Hades will get down on both of his knees in front of her. I beg you, come with me.
I'm gonna be a hard ass, and at that moment, we're to cut into the cabin.
Please keep going. Oh,
Oh, damn.
No, I mean we're all watching with bait. Keep going.
I think this image
tell
of-
me more.
are all of
Tell
you
me
just
more.
looking through
Does he
the
drive a
window?
good?
Everybody roll to leave with Hades right now.
everyone in the cabin.
Why
Actually,
do
though,
I feel the need to make a charisma saving throw?
So hard.
At that moment, we are going to peek into the cabin. You see that Cerberus is kind of curled up on the nearest like pile of cloth that Kern will allow him to go on, and is nomming on this piece of beef that Achilles gave him. You all can't really hear what's going on outside because Hades has very low register and Persephone is very soft spoken, and there does not appear to be any yelling or clashing of swords yet. But the three of you are in the cabin, sort of left alone with your thoughts. Kern, are you gathering things up?
Yeah, so I walking around just kind of picking supplies, restocking potions. I've lit a fire, because I mean it's damp still. Out of respect for Persephone's privacy, there's still a hole in the in the roof. Cause I considered it, but like that just feels nosy at that point. I thought about it. I thought about it. Oh, I have to fix my roof. Bummer. But no. So he's just gathering stuff up. It's kind of like I said, he's got a fire going. But right now, really, he's just sat on the edge of his bed, running his fingers over the quilt. And he looks like he's in pain.
Is this bedroom like, is this all one room, or is there like...
I would give it like an open floor plan.
Okay.
So like, I mean, there's maybe
Give us
like
the
a
Zillow.
cloth.
The Zillow kind of
You want the Zillow walkthrough? Okay.
Yeah.
So the housewarming walkthrough is that you walk in, and it is like the kitchen, dining, living space is all one big. It's just big one room. It's like it's a cabin. And then the only thing that, yeah, pretty much the only thing that separates the sleeping space and right, so the bathroom's on one side and the sleeping space is on the other, are just like cloth drapes. And they are also, so everything that has those more warm touches to it looks like it's been very delicately tended to.
Mhm.
And it's very obvious that he did not make them, because then if you look at things like the workbench, there is a very crude cloth on it. It's tattered and torn, and the stitching looks awful.
What are the amenities, though?
You are lucky that there's a hole in the floor and there's a bucket for you to dump water on top of yourself if you need to shower because there's a creek about a quarter of a mile away,
Mhm.
with a little waterfall as I have pictured it in my head. And then you can sleep on the floor because nobody else is sleeping in that bed.
Yeah.
Not even him. Like not even him. And nobody is allowed to sleep in that bed.
Um, while Kern is looking at that quilt, Medea is going to approach. She's still like got her arms crossed, and uh, I think because she doesn't know you, she might let a little bit slip. She looks ever so slightly anxious. It's hard to see. You really have to look for it, but there's a little bit of anxiety there. And she's going to is it's clear you haven't been here in a while. Is there anything I can help with? Um
Well,
uh, anything I can do. Something.
well, I never really was one to cook. I burnt most everything, so if you know how to make food, then that's really I and he looks lost in this conversation. Like he's really taking his life apart and realizing that he dedication to the potion crafting um doesn't know much else. Um I mean, in Infernalia, he, for lack of a better explanation, eats out all the time, or people bring him food.
Mhm.
But a lot of the things that he has, he's gotten through bartering and trading. So prepped meals and like he can hunt and he can forage, but
Mhm.
that becomes a little more animalistic after a minute. And is prevalent in the way like his beard is very well kept. Um, but when he talks, his teeth definitely have a more jagged razor animal quality to him.
Cooking. Um I must admit it's been a very long time. Um the luxuries of having an important husband means that a lot of times you can get a chef. I can make something very simple. Um, a bit childish, but something. Most of the time, if I am cooking, it's not for adults.
What about you? You over there?
Achilles.
what are you doing?
Achilles is looking. I'm assuming there's a window where I can kind of see the situation going on and see that it's calm and peaceful. Achilles is going to stand up. Okay. Unfortunately, the people who knew and this would be a problem for are dead now. I was the cook for my house that I shared with Patroclus. Medea, if you want to provide a little bit of aid, I think I could cook a good supper for everyone.
Please, I need something to do.
Achilles is going to immediately go towards the cupboard and look through all the ingredients, everything that is available, and kind of direct Medea towards essentially the seasoning. And
Mhm.
say, all right, get this, this, and this, chop this up, do this as I'm preparing everything up. I don't know if there's a role for cook dinner, but
Yeah.
100% there's a role for cook dinner.
Does Achilles get advantage because Medea's helping?
100% I'm going to have you describe what you're doing. But how I do stuff like this, I would say that Achilles, you are proficient in cooking's tools. So you will get your proficiency bonus. Now, you can choose any of the 6 attributes, but you have to justify to me which one you're using.
okay.
Once you do that, you can pick, you basically are going to roll a d20, you're going to add your proficiency, you are going to add whatever attribute that you prove to me, either strength, dex, uh watch as I forget every attribute in D&D, not like I do this all the time, constitution I love it though. I love it.
Go
You
for
get
it.
the
Go.
drill. You get the drill.
Strength.
Uh,
Use your strength.
I
I have no strength.
how's your wisdom?
Not
'Cause,
good.
uh,
I am fast. I have a hardy constitution, and I can talk to people. Everything else is like, eh.
so
I think you can make a case for honestly, I think you can make a case for Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was
Considering
gonna say
it
Dex or Constitution. I feel like if I'm making a fajita, it would be Dex because you have to make sure nothing like cooks too long, and you have to make sure you time the skillet. Uh, so,
Oh,
so I feel like Achilles, with the help of Medea, were going out to the garden and finding all the proper ingredients, quickly cutting out a little bit of
Kurt has
dill.
to show you where everything is, I would assume. If he has the I know he's not
CERN,
doing great
are
right
you
now.
helping us?
Um yes, actually he will help if for nothing else other than because you're touching all of his wife's things. And his
I pull
eyes
out only
twitching.
what's necessary and take clippings off to replant later as needed.
And he's just doing a lot of
No, the whole time I was like, no, I get it. Don't worry. I promise you. Patroclus had an herb. They had an herb garden, and like you see, kind of a little bit of emotion, just like they had an herb garden. I know what I'm clipping, and it's not going to kill the plant. I promise you. Just taking a clip
I'm not
here.
worried about you killing the plant. Plants are sort of my thing. I know that I look angry all the time, but I promise you that I do know a thing or two about plants. I'm more concerned about the things that you are wielding in the kitchen. Those belong to my wife, and I intend to have everything pristine and perfect for when she wakes up.
I
I
will make
promise you.
sure I and Achilles, we, in fact, will make sure that everything is in order and everything is ready for her.
And
Why
at the
don't you
very
tell
least,
us a
we'll
bit
have a good
about
meal.
Why don't you tell us a bit about her?
Oh, I didn't put my setting spray on. Okay. Um oh, choices were made here, guys. Um and he's going to kind of just Belle is she's the loveliest. Um she really was just a ray of warmth in my otherwise dark dark existence. Um I mean, she really was nothing could match her. Her life people would come from around for my potions and just to sit and bask in her presence. She was just very full and loving and loved unconditionally and um somebody I thought who was important to me, who I worked far too hard to impress, um, came to attack me, and they missed. And I have been working tirelessly. And for like that split moment, it really does see like how the war, like, yeah, I mean, it's something I feel like we don't get to touch on enough, just because we're going, but you see. Just in this moment, the age lines on his face. He's not particularly old for a satyr, um, but his body looks worn. He looks exhausted. His eyes are almost, despite being that vibrant emerald green, like they're so inset they look hollow. um and uh, the traditionally proud man that you guys would have like glimpsed walking around camp looks defeated. um and he's just gonna kind of slump into one of the dining chairs, and run his fingers over this red napkin. It has just a very delicate orange trim that looks like the sunset, and he's just, I will wake her up someday. If I give my life, I will wake her up someday.
If there's ever anything I can do to help, it has only been a matter of days since I lost my husband. I can imagine very well the pain you must feel of not having her. Admittedly, Jason was, at least to most people, not a warm ray of sunlight. He was more of the glisten of blood and starlight. But I never doubted his love for me, even if everyone else did. Should you require aid in bringing your wife back, I would do everything I can to assist.
So I assume I have advantage for taking dinner.
I was about to say, how do I transition out of this in the most
Do I roll
respectful
for
way
dinner?
possible?
I'm
Medea,
so sorry.
No, it's good. This is what I wanted. I wanted more time for Medea and Kern because you guys are latecomers. So Medea and Kern, as you share this moment, Achilles, what attribute did you pick, and how are you justifying it?
I'm gonna say, if you'll allow, I'm gonna use Dex because I'm quickly trying to cut through cutting the onions so I don't cry.
Or you
And
can
also,
blame the onions. You can blame
yeah,
the
exactly.
onions
I'm
for your
so sorry,
crying.
Eddie.
So, am I just doing a flat Dex roll here?
No. So it's a dex roll plus your proficiency. You're rolling with advantage. Medea, what are you doing even in this emotional moment? What have you done to give Achilles help with this?
To help Achilles, Medea will do what she can. It's been probably about 7 or 8 years since she herself has had to cook a proper meal. The luxuries of a husband who makes a lot of money, and then on her own right making a good deal of money from working in the Infernal Army. Between the two of them, they were pretty well off. Hence why they both were dripping with gold. um, but she hasn't, but she used to. Back when she was living in Zella, she probably, well, her father was also quite wealthy. She's really never she's known a certain amount of struggle, but not financial. She probably hasn't ever really cooked much. But it's definitely been a long time since she's had to cook like a full proper meal. Mostly, at least the past 7 years, has been more like making chicken fingers here and there.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese, classic little kid meals for her boys. And so probably she's just like any instruction Achilles is giving her in terms of like, can you do this? She's probably doing it to the best of her ability, like just chopping up stuff. Like asking questions. This is probably the most pleasant you've ever seen her. Despite the fact that like she is clearly not okay. This is probably the most pleasant at least Achilles has ever experienced her. Um, and she's just like doing her best to not get in the way and also to watch what Achilles is doing. She's trying to kind of pay attention because in the back of her mind, she's also fairly certain that she is never going to have the luxurious life that she knew. She doesn't know what is next. She has no idea what sh- her to her the future is so uncertain that she's like, I may as well learn how to make a fajita.
Is that what we're making? All right, great. What did you roll, doofus?
So, am I adding Dex and proficiency,
Yes,
or
you are.
just
You are making a dex
Oh,
roll.
cool.
You are adding proficiency.
28? Can I describe the meal?
Achilles, yes, my darling. Please describe the meal that you make.
So, as Achilles he sees everyone emotional, and they are currently emotional as well, but decides it's time to bring everyone in. Everyone's tense, everyone's angry, everyone's scared. Achilles is chopping finely several different, chopping up onions and different root herbs. He is kind of calling out to Medea to bring in certain ingredients and to chop in a certain way, and letting them chop them up, maybe re-chopping afterwards. Creating this essentially what I can only call a 14-inch pan of fajitas with different peppers, different herbs, different meats. I'm sure I'm bringing in kind of goat, beef, chicken. No seafood because I haven't heard of any ocean in Rapturalia yet.
There is, just not in this particular plane. Yeah.
Yeah, so taking different root vegetables and everything, tossing it together, putting it in a skillet, and pull it up with very little strength that he has, pulls it up and throws it onto a center table, still sizzling, stirs it up, kind of stir fry style. Gives a quick wink to Medea, like, hey, appreciate your help. It's like, okay, this sent Patroclus over the moon. Let's see if you guys like it. And puts in the serving utensils and sets out plates for everyone.
And
Hopefully, Persephone and Hades come in soon.
And as you do that, we're going to come back to Persephone and Hades. Hades having just asked the question on his knees to Persephone. You are muted, my dear.
Sorry. Persephone walks over to Hades and puts a hand under his chin and lifts his head up. And goes, I would love to spend the rest of my life with you. But how can you ask me to leave them?
And Hades blinks for a moment and then looks at Persephone. What if I didn't?
What do you mean?
What if you didn't have to leave them?
How?
I'm offering to take all of you. You said that they were your family. And to love you is to love your family.
You couldn't ask that of them. They have families here. Wives, children. The only one who would want to go would be Achilles. And that's to see Patroclus again. And I don't think he'd leave them either.
Maybe we figure out a way to bring their families as well.
And on that note, we're going to take a break.
How fucking dare you? No, you don't get to leave on that note. No, fuck you. I love you, but fuck you.
Hey guys, hello. Hi, thank you so much for being at Magic Academy. A couple things before we go to break. I want to say a thank you to the people who came in while we were streaming. I saw that Nasty came in, Cozy88, so good to see you both. I did also see scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I want to say hello on stream to Sir Luke. Didn't get to say hello to you until that. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 10 minutes past the hour. And my players are going to kill me. Wish me luck. I'll see you guys soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Magic Academy. Guys, they didn't kill me. I'm still alive for now. But thank you so much for being here. I hope you got up, stretched, got some water. I feel like all I do is recite Churney Adventures whenever I do that. But thank you so much for being here. I want to also say hello to everyone who is here. I don't believe there is anyone I haven't greeted, but hello again. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate all of you. We are going to pick back up where we left off. As a reminder, Hades has just revealed that not only are all of the old gods leaving, they believe that it is time to clean up the rest of the war that they no longer can control, using a solar dragon to clean out not just the celestial army, but the infernal army, and essentially clean the slate. However, Hades has just proposed an idea to take Persephone with him, but also the other three. And that is where we are now.
Okay. Take them all.
Yes. Could find their families. Anyone that they do not wish to leave behind is more than welcome.
In my forest?
I will do everything that I can to save it, but I do not know what the solar dragon will do. The war has gotten out of hand, Persephone. This may be the only way to end it. The gods no longer have control of their soldiers.
I doubt they had control ever. Do you realize?
It seemed as if they did for a moment.
Do you realize that I feel it burning every day?
Yes.
If the solar dragon destroys it, then I don't know what will happen to me.
I have not tested all of the limits of my power. But if I can save your forest, perhaps even bring it with me, I will do so.
It's not my decision to make for the others. You have to convince them. And I'm not totally convinced myself.
As you say that, you get just a delicious smell of cooked food that wafts from the cabin. And you see that somehow Cerberus barrels through the door and is just doing the snuffle. Just doing.
I believe it is dinner time.
I turn on my heel and walk away from him, leaving him sitting on the ground.
Just like old times, Hades. Gets up. And I kind of stands there for a moment, kind of uncertain, looks at Persephone walking away, takes a deep breath, right, and walks to the doorway of the house. Does not cross the threshold.
Cerberus does the thing where he runs to you, Achilles, looks at you, runs back to Hades, looks at Hades, runs back at you, looks at you, and gives you the biggest puppy dog eyes you've ever seen in your life.
Achilles is gonna take a piece of fat out of the stew that he's making, kind of wave it off, cool it off, and then give it to Cerberus, pin him on the head. It's like, go ahead.
He eats it, and then runs back to Hades, runs back to you, gives you the same look.
I look at Achilles. He wants permission for Hades to come in. and I'm not giving it.
I believe that's up to CERN.
Are you a vampire, or do you need to be asked in?
I would rather not enter someone's domicile without their express consent.
Hmm.
It is not a matter of power, it is a matter of politeness.
You know what?
I say let him in.
Sure, why don't you come on in?
You have my thanks. And I walk through the door.
You see the spread that Achilles has laid out before you, this sizzling hot fajitas, because why not? Why the hell not? I don't know how many chairs Curran has. I don't know if there are enough chairs for everybody. You have 2, so there are not enough chairs for everybody. So how does it look as set the scene for me? How does it look as the 5 of you plus dog awkwardly try to set up for dinner?
Medea stands. Medea will stand. And at a certain point, we'll kind of look at Persephone and then look at Hades and then make eye contact with Persephone and be like, interesting. She won't say anything out loud, but like, she'll not my type, but that's like kind of what her look conveys is like, not my type, but like, I get it.
Cerberus immediately plops down looking for scraps. This is my job right now, is RPing the dog.
Oh, Achilles has constantly been tossing the scrap pieces as he's cooking onto a plate, and then as soon as dinner's done, he sets the plate down for Cerberus.
Happiest dog you've ever seen. Immediately just doesn't even look at you, Hades, like does not get permission, just barrels to the plate of food.
You have definitely gained a friend today, Achilles.
Those are few and far between. I kind of look over to Persephone, kind of looking for the approval of, am I treating him good or am I being a shithead?
The look you get is just like a simple nod of she's tolerating him currently.
Achilles presents Hades a very well decorated plate with the different seared meats and vegetables, peppers, seasonings across, and all the accoutrements that go with it. Sits in front of him. I hope you received my messages.
I do.
Gift of how is he?
And Hades will pull out a great gourd from his robes, set it on the table kind of as an offering, and will look at Achilles and he will say, and I'm sorry if I butchered the name, Patroclus.
Patroclus.
Patroclus
Mm-hmm.
is at peace. He misses you dearly.
You see a smile. Everyone out here, there's no even trying to hide it. A smile that you have not seen from Achilles in a long time. Approach and give a quick pat on Hades' shoulder. Thank you. And go back to start serving plates for everyone else.
And Hades will nod. You are most welcome. And he will touch the gourd. This is a mead from my realm. I have prepared it myself. It is my favorite. I offer this to all of you as a token of my goodwill.
Well, it's very generous. I believe it would be best etiquette to allow our host first pour.
Um. So, sorry, my Roll20 can't open on my computer right now, so I'm using my phone. Because we love technology.
Technology.
I am doing and afraid.
And nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, kind of is where I'm at. You know what? Well, and I mean, Kurt has made it. I mean, it's his house. He's made himself quite cozy. He's actually sitting on the kitchen counter. He has hopped up there and is just kind of chilling out. And it's funny, like the way that the way that the cabinets and everything are set up, there is just a gap. In the cabinetry that looks like maybe one was missing, but when he perches himself on the counter, it becomes quite apparent that no, he sits there all the time. Um. Okay. Well, get off the counter and kind of trot over and.
And as he's trotting over, Hades has taken the gourd and is pouring Kern a glass.
Oh, I'm afraid. Last time I trusted somebody, we got into a fight. I'm afraid.
And as Kern approaches the table, Hades will take the glass, and the glass will become a goblet in his hands, and he will offer it to Kern. As you are my gracious host, I offer you a token of my appreciation and thanks.
Persephone, where's your staff? Where's your staff?
It's on me. It's not glowing.
We promise it's not glowing.
Can I do an insight check on Hades' intentions?
I think with Sphinx's permission, you absolutely can.
100%. Go for
While
it.
he's rolling that, DM, is my staff glowing?
It is not glowing.
It's safe.
What'd you get to, Vis?
That is a natural 20.
Sphinx, with a nat 20, what are Hades' intentions in this moment?
Hades' intentions in this particular moment are to foster nothing but goodwill and trust. Like he is here peaceably and potentially with an offering.
Achilles is going to take the gourd of mead, look over at Persephone with a wink, and turn it back. Set it down. I think we need to hear what he has to say.
You couldn't have at least put it in a glass.
Well then.
It is fine. Warriors are set in their ways.
We're an entirely different breed.
That's right, we are. I'll go ahead and, you know what, because Achilles is willing to put himself on the line for that, Kern will take the goblet and he'll slam it back to you.
It is delicious. It is probably the best mead you've ever tasted in your life. It is like not too sweet and cloying, but just the right amount of that kind of lovely light honeyed taste on your tongue. It is divine. Pardon the pun. You are literally drinking mead made by a god. This is the closest you'll get to the nectar.
And Hades will begin pouring glasses for everyone at the table, including himself. He will save himself for last.
Mm-hmm.
Achilles is going to look towards Persephone. I feel like we've kind of had nonverbal communication down. And he's going to give a look of, this may be legit. A look you haven't seen since he broke down about what happened with Metropolis with you. You see a look of trust that you have not seen in years.
Persephone just kind of sighs and looks at Hades. A request to before you start speaking, that you cast Son of Truth on yourself.
Hades snaps his fingers. The circle kind of, a few circles of magic kind of revolve around him. And you see Zone of Truth cast, and he says, done.
Do we need to make saves for this?
You sure
I'm looking that up right now.
do. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure everyone makes a save.
Yes, everyone makes a charisma saving throw. from what
What's your
I'm reading.
what's your DC, Sphinx?
It's 19.
I failed.
Not surprising.
I also failed.
I got a natural 20.
Oh,
And
yeah.
plus 11 for a 31.
Medea doesn't have to say shit.
Meet it, beat it. I got a 19.
Wonderful. So the only one who knows, who is not obligated to tell the truth, is Hades. Hades, you realize that your intention was not to, I assume, was not to cast it on everybody. It's just kind of like what happens when you cast Zone of Truth. You can tell that Medea and Persephone are not beholden to these effects.
That was not quite.
Do I have to roll for the dog? Okay, hang on. Let me roll a charisma flat. The dog fails. He has to tell the truth. Anyway.
You may ask anything of me. I shall not be dishonest.
Tell them what you told me and what you're offering.
And Hades looks at everyone. This war has gotten completely out of hand. The gods no longer have control over any of their soldiers. What little control they had is gone. And so, to end the widespread violence before it gets any worse, they're releasing a solar dragon to purge the soldiers, both celestial and infernal.
Where?
Where aren't they?
When?
Soon. I do not know exactly when.
Well, I'm going to need to plane shift spell immediately.
You
I
may
have
not have to
people like-
worry about that.
Not
I've
worry. I have people I need to protect. I have 2 young children.
Where? I offered Persephone sanctuary, and I extend that offer to all of you, as well as your families and your loved ones.
Where is this sanctuary?
In my domain.
Where is Hector?
Give me one moment.
DM,
DM.
remind me where Hector is?
You don't know where Hector is currently. Your plane, however, if I dip into the Rapturalia lore, if you would be so kind, as I remember all the things. Yes, of course. As I pull up all my lore, as anyone who knows, I have pages of it. Your realm is Eden. Eden is the realm of creation and nurturing. Despite the fact that you are the god of death, you share that domain with a couple of your siblings. Because you're specifically not even the god of death. Ascilla, your sister, is more of the goddess of life to death. You're more of the god of the afterlife.
The keeper of the dead.
Exactly. And so you know that Eden is your domain. It's another plane in Rapturalia. You, however, do not have any idea where Hector is when Achilles asks this question.
I do not know where Hector is. I have not come across him yet.
You see Achilles full on biting his lip to the point where blood is coming out.
That looks painful.
You have no idea. He's just staring forward as you continue.
Your families, your loved ones will be safe in Eden. And turns to Kern. I will bring Bell. Whatever I can do to bring Beltane back to you, you have my word as a god. I shall do.
If I can, DM, with Medea's knowledge of the arcane arts, I would like to try and discern if whether Hades failed or passed his own zone of truth. Because I know that you can willingly fail, but it's also possible to pass.
It is true.
And
Go
we
ahead.
don't know whether or not he's made the saving throw, for lack of a better term.
And neither do I, so I am immediately intrigued. Make me that Arcana check if you would be so
All
kind.
Afraid.
I'm gonna use this. Actually, I'm gonna use the black and gold die.
Ooh.
That one's fun. Come on, give me another nat 20.
Did you get another nat 20? Amazing.
It looked like it was gonna land on a 2, and then it just took one final little thing over to the 20.
I love that. I love how that happens.
Oh my god. I rolled 2 times today and they've both been What the hell? What is going on? And tell me everything.
Everything about the spell. How did you cast it? Did you fail? Did you pass? What did you do?
What are your bank passwords at this point?
What's your
Are you magically compelled to tell the truth in this moment?
Yes. He has willingly failed the saving throw.
Okay. If my children can be protected, I would be glad to see this war end. My greatest fear are my sons becoming warriors like their father. I saw what this war did to him. I will not see it happen to them.
On my honor, it shall not. It is also worth noting that the other gods saved from my sister are leaving. Only Uru stays.
What does leaving mean? You gods, you love to speak in vagaries.
They are returning to Romythra to fuel it.
Abandoning your creation.
It would seem so.
Well, they abandoned us a long time ago. So, that aside, not that I don't find this. Belle, you have to wake her up. Not in your power, you have to wake her up.
Check my sheet real quick. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Let me check the god powers.
Let's see. Do you have cast Bring Bell back
Do you have
as a first level spell?
I know, you had better have that as a first level spell. I don't know how to help you.
You got it. You got it. I am going to be a little bit of a hard ass here. What spells do you have that would do anything with this?
Let's see. Let's see.
Did you prepare your spell strings?
I've got some spells.
Gotcha, spells. So behind the sheet, would you all like to know what Hades is mechanically?
No, I want to make.
a
I want it to
badass,
be a
I hope.
surprise. I
Okay,
want it to
great.
be a surprise.
Wonderful. Not saying anything then. Go ahead.
Figure it out.
I do have true resurrection. I have power word heal. Let's see. I have remove curse.
I am going to say, out of all those spells, I think, and please correct me if I am wrong, Lore, I think that she's not dead, is the thing. Belle is not deceased. Belle is in a coma. So honestly, a very high level remove curse would probably be the best bet here. It would have to be a level 9 remove curse mechanically.
Yeah, she's in a coma. The remove curse probably doesn't make the most sense because she's in a coma by his hand.
Exactly. So it's, had she died, something like true resurrection would make sense. Power word heal, also a good alternative, but I'm going to say my final call is remove curse. Unless Laura, that doesn't feel comfortable to Kern, I think that might be the best bet.
I think that's probably, because I mean she's in a coma due to a failed potion. So I mean whatever he did is stabilizing her, but he can't wake her up. So that's probably the best bet.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I was saying things. One moment, if you please. Keep going.
No.
I can remove the curse that is on her. I can bring her back.
Achilles is going to look at Hades. Can you use your networks to bring Hector to me?
DM, is that something that's possible?
100%.
Yes.
You bring Hector to me and let me do with his soul, his being, his essence, what I choose. You have my sword and my shield.
DM, I see you. I see you, DM.
Check your messages! Check your messages!
Oh.
I just get a new favorite guest star here? Let's find out.
I mean, he would be the one of 2 guest stars that were actually on our side.
I'm not fully on. I thought magic was on our side too.
Well, we did treat him mean, so.
Anyway.
I can do these things. However, there is a cost. Not to you. To me. You see, everything that I do right now will be an open rebellion against my siblings. I do this, and they know where I am. I am willing to take that risk, but I do not know what it will mean for you.
Give me.
I will, of course, do all in my power to protect you.
Give me what I
But
ask.
my siblings are many.
Give me what I ask, and you will have my shield forever.
Hades considers that for all of a second. He extends a hand.
I'm so afraid.
It will be done.
Achilles grabs him by the forearm and pulls him close. Ensure Persephone is safe in the long run as well, as he lets go.
You see,
As
you guys do the
Hades-
predator. Sorry, go ahead.
As Hades moves backwards, he will say, for everyone to hear, it is what I want. More than anything.
I will say, as the predator handshake happens, you know, when a dog sees that people are getting together and the dog immediately becomes excited and does like tippy taps. I'm just remembering, I'm calling it back to Netherdeep. Anyone who saw Netherdeep with Lore as Marcella when they morphed into a hyena and did tippy taps, and that's very much the vibe I'm going for right now. I'm going to say something.
Can I
Yeah?
make an addition to that?
Yes!
I would love if when we are in like the predator handshake, Cerberus sees that, trots over and puts a paw
100%.
on top of that.
Big paw, big old paw on top of the predator handshake. Now, I am going to give Sphinx some information that you guys are going to hear, and I don't mind that you hear, because we can say that Hades can reveal this information or he doesn't. A little bit of a DM spiel to get us into the next event. You know for a fact that if Hades casts the spells that you require, you will have a total of maybe 12 hours before the other gods find out. You do not know what they'll do. Hades, you know they're capable of great violence because gods. And you know that they had this plan, and you know how Roska gets, your brother. He's very much the one who like streamlined this plan. Uru already pieced. Youngest sister already said, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yep.
And you know that it will take 12 hours for them to find you. They're gonna find you no matter what you do. Now, it is highly unlikely. You know that if this happens, you will have to throw yourself in front of your siblings to let them escape.
Yep.
And that's all I can give you because you don't know what else they do from there.
And Hades will, upon like sitting back, and by the way, like there were not many chairs. Hades took out, I'd like to say, like a handful of bones, threw them on the ground, and created a bone chair.
Of course he did. Yeah.
And is sitting on the bone chair. And so he's leaning back against it and he's saying, "Oh, go ahead. Oh, well,
No,
somebody
finish
go."
it. No, so don't worry. Finish your thought, and then we'll go. Don't you worry.
Okay. Here is what is going to happen. Once the spell is cast, once these spells are cast, we will have approximately 12 hours before my siblings find me. Sans Uru. Uru's out. She's had enough. They are capable of anything. I will throw myself in front of them so that you can escape.
So,
Beyond that, I can make no guarantees as to what will happen.
so let me get this straight. Your offer is I will give you safety, but what it actually is you're going to cast a couple of spells and then we're going to be at the mercy of the gods. That doesn't sound like safety. I need a guarantee that if I am going to get involved in this, I need a guarantee that myself and my children are not going to be harmed. I can't do this. Well, the rest of the gods might try and do some great violence against you because of this. Otherwise, I would rather just give me a scroll of plane shift and I will save my children myself. I must admit, the offer you've given, it's a bit confusing. So what is it? Is it safety? Or are we at the mercy of the gods?
It is safety because I will face them. You will not have to. They will deal with me.
So you drop us in your domain, and then you go fight the rest of the gods. Is that...
I am hoping that it does not come to a fight. Should it? Yes.
And what if you lose? What happens to us? What happens to your domain?
I don't know. I have not considered that because I don't plan on losing.
You must always plan for if you lose. If you don't have a contingency plan, you're fucked.
So I'm going to lay out exactly what the issue is. If you guys went with Hades, did not revive Belle, and did not bring Hector, you would have no issue of the gods finding you. You would have your safety and immediately go. If you want him to bring back Belle and you want him to bring Hector, this is what will happen. I did not say this choice was going to be easy.
You did not.
I mean, it doesn't.
And Hades pretty
it
much repeats those words, essentially.
Go ahead. What were you saying, Kern?
It doesn't change my mind.
It doesn't change mine.
Yeah. These are the two non-starters. So.
I have been searching this entire time to pool my revenge against Hector. That is why I fight for the Infernals. If they want me on their side, this is the term of my service. And I'll look over to Hades. If you want my service, this is what is required, and I will ensure you will survive with a sword and shield at your side for all eternity.
I will not risk my children's lives.
There is one other matter that I have not broached to any of you, actually. And he's going to turn to Persephone. I know that things are very up in the air right now. You have a very valid reason for being angry with me, hating me, even. I do not disagree with your emotions, however. I have loved you from the moment I saw you. And he reaches into his cloak and he pulls out a small box. And he sets it on the table in front of her and he opens it and there is a ring. If you were to come with me, I will make you my queen and entrust you with all of the power therein.
You have
So
the worst timing.
That's the
this is not
understatement
the
of the
first
year.
time. It's not the first time you've said that to me.
It won't be the last, I'm sure.
Is that a yes?
You see her roll her eyes and just like think a minute. And she just sighs and rubs her fucking, like, the bridge of her nose. Fine. As long as it keeps them safe. And Achilles, you better fucking live.
I don't plan on dying anytime soon.
As my queen, I share my power with you. They will be safe. so long as one of us stands. And he takes the ring from the box. He places it on your finger. You have my vow. You have my life. You have my eternity. You have my heart. As you always have.
You better live too.
Again, I don't plan on being destroyed.
Well, this is very touching and lovely. But I will not go to your domain unless I can have a 100% guarantee of my children's safety. I will not go into this. I will go back to the material plane or Infernalia, wherever my children are, and I will save them myself if you cannot give me a 100% certain guarantee of their safety. They have already lost their father. I have lost their father. I
Hades
have
pulls a
nothing else.
gemstone. Hades pulls a gem from his cloak and hands it to you. It is a red gem. And as he hands it to you, you see the image of Jason appear. I can bring him back to protect you all.
I don't need him back. I need my children safe. He's perfectly happy in hell, I'm certain, I can assure you.
Oh, he is. He is having the time of his afterlife.
Oh, I'm sure he is. And I'm happy to leave him to it. I don't care if he comes back. I don't need him. I loved him, yes, and I am upset that he is gone, but I don't need him to continue on. I need to know that my boys are safe.
With your permission, Hades, and swearing an oath to you, if you allow, I'll swear an oath to protect the lineage of Jason and Medea. For as long as I exist, I'll protect your children, grandchildren after that. Will you allow this oath?
I will allow it if Medea will.
Achilles kneels, shield and sword into the ground. You have never trusted me. I've not been one to trust. My ties to this world will hopefully soon be ended. If I am to survive, I will need a new charge. I will gladly give it to you and your late husband, if you'll allow it.
I'm going to place my hand on top of Achilles and say, if a hair on one of their heads is harmed by one of these so-called gods, I will haunt you and torture you for the rest of eternity. And you feel a cold, psionic wind blow past you and blow through your hair and toss that wonderful long braid you have aside. I will find you in every afterlife. You will not know a moment of peace.
You see a small smirk come across Achilles' face. Oh, you know I would never challenge your wrath, Medea. And also, you think anything could ever get past me? Gives a quick wink as he kneels his head back down.
Hades kind of leans over to Persephone, takes her hand in his. Say what you will, but I kind of like her.
She's fierce, and don't threaten her
Yes.
children.
I would never dream of it.
If that's that, and against my better judgment, I suppose we have a deal.
So we do.
So 2 tasks remain ahead. Bringing back Belle and bringing Hector.
All right. So, who would like to go first? Whose request, I should say, should we settle?
I say CERN. Theirs is probably gonna be less problematic than my own.
Groovy, groovy, groovy.
I want that to be what he says. That is canon now.
And he's like,
He
rock
says-
on, dude.
Groovy, groovy, groovy. And where is Beltane?
Beltane's in Infernalia. Beltane's in Infernalia. She's in whatever city that like Medea had lived in and where we lived yeah.
Yeah. Great.
I mean I don't travel with a warm corpse.
Fair. Given that Hades is a god, is this something that he could just like pop out for a quick and then come back and he's got
I'm gonna say you're gonna have to do it, but I'm actually gonna have you roll a stealth check, and there's a reason for this. Your brother Kara deals and Rosca both are Infernal fans, so you're gonna need to roll a stealth check to make sure they don't like notice anything from their godly times. Yes.
Can okay. Let me look at my spells for a second. Because I
Go
want to
for
see
it.
because Medea of any of the gods would have probably followed Caravua, because I believe we had talked about at some point like something with that.
Yes.
So I want to see if there's any kind of spell that I can use to be helpful. Medea doesn't have any helpful spells.
Oh no.
Like I have 15 spells. They are either like travel spells or fuck you up real good spells.
I mean, travel spells are not a bad deal.
Could if I if I use a really high spell slot and I fuck with the spell a little bit, could I potentially use disguise self to help him in any way? I know it's like a self spell, but if I can like use a higher spell slot, because it's normally like just purely a level 1 spell. It doesn't get any bonuses when you cast it at a higher level. Could I, Misty, may I?
Yes.
Use possibly a higher level spell slot. I'll let you decide the level. To like use it kind of on this on like whatever magic he's doing to maybe try and disguise it and maybe give him advantage.
I'm gonna say 100% yes. I love this. I love this fuckery. There are 2 conditions. 1, 7th level spell slot. 2, give me that flavor.
Okay. So as Hades is doing his thing, Medea still kind of like a bit still uncertain, to be quite honest. She's not super she's a bit uncertain, but she is going to kind of subtly it's a vocal and somatic components. So she's going to kind of whisper under her breath, and you might see like her hand move a little bit, and that psionic aberrant mind sorcerer thing, that psionic wind kind of sweeps through a little bit and kind of merges with whatever magic you're doing, to kind of like disguise it a little bit, so like it might look slightly different and might have like a little bit of a green tinge to it where it might not otherwise, like an emeraldy green, um just to give it a little bit more, just to give it a better chance at not being recognized.
I love this. Absolutely, Sphinx, you may roll stealth with advantage.
Sweet. Okay.
Persephone, I'm going to have you roll an Arcana check as he does this.
Okay. That is going to be a 21 to stealth.
100% you managed to do this. We're going to have you describe it in just a second. I just want to address Persephone's Arcana roll. Persephone, what'd you get?
Dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, when Hades casts his spell, you feel the power of it coursing through your own body, as if just that arcane connection through the ring and through the vow you made to Hades surges through you. Essentially all of this is the equivalent mechanically of a level up for all of you. You will all end up reaching level 19 before the end of this campaign. Because shit happened that I didn't expect, and I will reward you for it. What happens, Sphinx? You are basically casting a spell to retrieve Beltane. Yeah. Go ahead. So you see Medea's emerald green psionic magic fills your spell to mask it. It passes the notice, at least as far as you know, of your brothers. What happens in this moment? And Persephone, you feel the power flow through you, and even feel a little bit of Medea's magic in you as well. It's almost like you're more susceptible to the magic around you. Not in a bad way. It all feels like bolstering to you. Like you're connected even more to the world around you.
In that moment, Hades will look at Persephone, be right back, and will pull from his cloak a helm, and he will put that helm on, and it will connect with the magic that Medea has cast, as he will be completely drenched in shadow. He's going to pass through the wall. And it will be maybe 5 minutes, probably tense minutes before Hades passes through the wall again.
Cerberus definitely acts like Hades was gone forever.
And in his arms, he is carrying Beltane.
Go ahead, Persephone.
I was going to say, when he leaves, I just shake my head and roll my eyes and, like, under my breath, I say, God, is he always fucking one for flair?
Kern, what does Beltane look like?
Belle is petite. She looks frail. Her hair usually it's long down to her waist. A variety of braids and beads have been tied in just from her time in the woods, but her hair is vibrantly, it looks muted in her weakened state, but you guys would know enough to know that by looking at her hair is like strands of sunlight itself. She's dressed in a very traditional dress, similar to what Medea wears, actually. but she wears orange with just a yellow cord. Um, sorry, I'm being assaulted by both of the cats. So hard to focus. There's whiskers everywhere. These are the issues. These are my problems.
Suddenly, Kern's cabin is filled with cats. You don't know where they
suddenly
came
there's
from.
cats everywhere. But
Are these
she's-
yours?
This
Well-
one's Fluffy. This one's Charles.
Hello, Charles. I know I missed you. Please go away. You're making my life difficult. But she's wearing just it's a burnt orange dress, tied together with a simple gold cord. Like her hair is, like I said, it's free flowing. It's just kind of falling behind her. She has on very basic leather sandals. But more than anything, what you guys will notice is that her clothes are pristine. There's not a thread that is torn. The rope looks new. Her sandals look like they have never seen a day of wear. And her hair is immaculate. Her makeup is perfect. Like, for all accounts, for what he has put all of his energy and effort into his wife.
And Hades will very gently actually no. He will conjure a table of bone in an empty space, and he will then very gently lay her across the table.
Okay. I was afraid.
I'm literally just dying. Like, Persephone's just rolling her eyes so fucking hard right now.
He's clearly trying to impress you. Come on. Come on.
Love him.
Come on, don't be scared.
Mm-mm.
And Hades kind of walks over to, well, not walks over because he's standing over her. He kind of cracks his knuckles, takes off the helm, kind of puts it on the other table. And he's going to place both of his hands over Beltane's heart. And he is going to begin muttering in a mix of celestial and deep speech. And as he does, you will see his hair begin to turn white and his skin begin to turn this bright blue as he's glowing, and the hair begins kind of moving as if controlled by wind that is not in the room. And as he unleashes power into her and casts Remove Curse at 9th level.
As the spell enters Beltane, it does not take long for her eyes to flutter open. She turns her head and clearly is too weak to say anything. As she just holds out a shaking hand to Kern.
My whole heart in half. I mean, instantly rushing to her side. I've got you. And he's gonna get delicately slide his arms, under around her neck and under her knees, and kind of pull her in and almost cradle her. I don't even know, that just that feeling of need and the closeness, and he's just kind of holding her and has her tucked up against his, into his chest, and kind of just holds her head and is stroking her cheek. I've got you. You're okay. You're okay. And he's just touching where he can without dropping her, like this isn't a real moment. And as he does, he starts to kind of walk absent-mindedly through you guys, essentially. Almost like everything around him is faded away. And walks over to the bed and gently pulls back the bedspread and just kind of sets her down, and covers her back up. And really just
She does
doesn't
not
move.
let go of your hand.
Yeah, he's not moving.
Yeah, she doesn't let go of your hand. She is too weak to speak at this moment. But she looks at you. The most expressive part of her are her eyes. And her eyes are just looking at you with pure, unadulterated love, knowing that there will be hopefully time to talk later. And speaking of time, Hades, you hear the rushing of winds as you know it's only a matter of time before you're discovered, and there's one more thing you have to do.
Hades closes his eyes as his skin and his hair return back to normal. Well, it begins. Time is of the essence. And he walks over to Achilles, takes him by the shoulder, gives it a quick squeeze. I'll be right back. Puts
Achilles.
the helm back on.
Go ahead.
Go, I want to hear this. Go ahead.
Achilles places his hand in the center of your back. And you return to Patroclus. My soul or his will join him tonight. A quick pat on the back and prepares a sword and shield.
Helm on, steps through shadow again.
Hades, as you reach out for Hector, you feel a hand on your arm. And it is not Hector's hand. It is Chaku's. And Chaku, you hear Chaku's voice going, brother, you go too far. You want my warrior? I'll see you soon. She releases your arm. You are thrust back into the cabin with a very confused young soldier clattering on the floor. He looks up. You see this chiseled, muscular guy, dark eyes, brown hair that is tied back in a tight ponytail at the back of his head. He has scars across his face and his chest. He is wearing armor, and he looks up at all of you and goes, where in the hell am I? And then his eyes lock on you, Achilles.
I take my sword, pull it underneath his chin, and say, don't worry, Hillis, you'll soon return.
And as you try to stab him, you hear a shaking outside that causes the entire cabin to quake. And you hear a voice go, all you did was speed up the inevitable, and now we're going to have to convince you that we were right and you were wrong.
Oh, hells.
You hear...
What happened to the 12 hours?
Clearly, I was wrong. Again.
Wonderful. Do you have a contingency plan? Or was I, in fact, the one who was right?
I believe I might have a contingency plan, but give me just a minute.
he does have a contingency plan, actually, at least for your boys.
Please hold while we consult the character sheets.
Indeed. And he will turn to Medea. And he will put both of his hands at her shoulders. The hair will go white again. The skin will go blue again. And this time, his eyes go white for the first time. And probably any of your seeing outside of Persephone's. You will not be harmed. Your boys will not be harmed. You have my protection, as well as Achilles. And he is going to give you a bit of a push, and you will be with your boys again.
Medea vanishes.
Am I in a weird cave somewhere with my has been arranged for my mother-in-law and children to hang out in.
Well,
while
about
shit
that.
gets figured out.
So here is the setup. Basically, here is what's happening. You guys, I'm gonna railroad you just slightly with all the love in my heart. You guys step outside and see 5 other figures standing outside. You see a tall woman with silver white hair and almost pale eyes. You see she has the symbol of a hummingbird on her chest. You know that this is a Scylla. You see next to her is Chaku, slightly shorter. You see Hector runs to her, but she stops him. She has this kind of coiffed swoop of blue-black hair. You see next to them is Kara, this fiery redhead, wiry but strong, with wraps around his fists. You then see Roska, the stoic, solid boulder of a man with long, long arms. And you see, lastly, Kusiu, a shorter man, very spry with a jovial grin. And you see that Chaku steps forward and looks at you, Hades, and says, "We will not touch a hair on your soldiers' heads. We cannot say the same for him." They gesture, and you hear a piercing, draconic roar. Hector looks up and goes, What is this? What, my goddess, what is this?" And Chaku holds out her hand. "We said every soldier. Every single one, Hades. We agreed. We have to get rid of every trace of them."
You agreed.
"You're just like her. Why didn't you say something before?"
Would you have listened to me?
You see that Roska steps forward and says, "We'll deal with you. The dragon will deal with them." And as the gods face off with Hades, somewhere magically away, because we can't have Sphinx back for the next session, and with Medea suddenly appearing in a far-off cave with her 2 young boys looking very confused, you see the large, hulking figure in front of a confused Hector looking at you all, of a solar dragon. And that's where we'll end our session. Well, I didn't expect Medea to not be here, so that's going to be a whole thing we have to address. But,
Okay.
So we needed
It
this
seemed
power
like
word
the only way
kill.
to solve the problem.
I mean, for Medea, yeah. You definitely solved Medea's problem.
we're going to have to talk. I don't know what's going to happen. I deliberately made this an extremely tough decision. Because I didn't want to, and I knew that if you tried to get Hector, Hector's one of Chaku's protected. So I was like, she's gonna notice. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all who have contributed to the Short Evil D&D series challenge. If you have not contributed your points, please go ahead and do so. It's going to be super fun. And thank you all for being here. Wow. Did not expect half of this. Poor me, like literally. And we're 25% complete with the community challenge. Yay! Poor me texting Sphinx going, "Hey, no, I didn't plan this. Hey, no, I didn't plan this." I tried to have so many contingencies open, and I just was like constantly going back and forth. So thank you all for letting me experiment as a GM. I think this is going to be really interesting. This is your final fight. Next week is your final fight, the final episode of All's Fair in Love and War, and we will certainly see what happens here.
Oh boy.
I'm afraid.
I want
This
to.
is fine.
This is fine. There's nothing wrong. Your source. I'm in danger. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Churney for our audio. Thank you to Magic Sheeb, our very own Magic Daddy, for the behind the scenes. We're going to go ahead and start with our guest star. Thank you so much, Circle DM, for being here. It was an absolute blast having you at the table. Where can we find you?
Hello, I am Sphinx Akasha, for those of you who don't know, aka Circle DM on TikTok. Sphinx Akasha is just about everywhere else on social media. You can find me on Tuesdays and Wednesdays with the Dinner to Game streaming channel, playing Emerald Sanctums and Kingdoms of Mist. Emerald Sanctums is our open world of Darkness game set in the city of Seattle, and Kingdoms of Mist is our 5e homebrew, where that's based loosely on Treasure Planet. On every other Friday, you can find me with the Alex Bomb channel playing Initiatives and Intrigue, where I play your favorite bard / cleric, Badru Kamar.
I love Badru! Anyway.
On the opposing Fridays, you can find me running my own campaign, Agents of the Circle. We are in our final season. Currently, we are in our Battle of the Bards arc, and they are in the continent and kingdom of Anthem, where that is ruled by King Bootsy. That's Bootsy Collins, if you don't know. They have just faced off against the monk brotherhood of the Wu-Tang Clan, and they are currently on a kind of a dungeon crawl to help fulfill one of the PC's destinies. So stay tuned for that. On Fridays and Saturdays, or I just did Fridays. On Saturdays, you can find me with the ADH Adventures channel, also playing in alternating games, Heroes Arc, where I play Raziel the Necromancer, and what's the other one? Unlicensed Magic War Crimes, where I play Zan, the former BBEG turned Oath of the Watcher Paladin. And on Sundays, you can find me also with ADH Adventures playing The Tale That Never Was, where I play Io Neota, who is a Kalishtar Aberrant Mind sorcerer, who is my answer to the question, what if Howl Pendragon from Howl's Moving Castle was a Kalishtar and Calcifer was his quarry?
Perfect. Amazing. Holy crap. Sphinx can be found everywhere doing the things.
Doing all of it.
Never mind the fact that I definitely wanted to invite you for whatever next Monday campaign I have, but good gravy.
Yeah.
We'll talk. We're gonna go to our main cast now, our wonderful core four, as it were. Let's go ahead and start with Doofus. Where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Doofus Domain Cleric. You can find me on TikTok making goofy videos, and well, for a little while you can find me just simping over Circle DM's voice at wherever we can find him, Daddy.
Let's go to Lily Pandas, if you'd be so kind.
I am Lily Pandas. You can actually catch me here, obviously, as Persephone for at least one more stream. And then this Wednesday is my first stream on my own channel, and we will be playing some Tears of the Kingdom. And that'll be at 6 p.m. MDT.
If you are not following Lily Pandas yet, please, let's try to get them all the followers. Let's go to Sweet and Lore.
Hello. You can find me everywhere at Sweet and Lore. Primarily here on Twitch Saturdays and Sundays as of right now. I am looking to expand that in the near future. This weekend we're just gonna play some Stardew Valley. I'm waiting on a couple more updates to come out for Weirdlands and Mail Time. As soon as those do, best believe we're gonna get right back up in there. But in the meantime, we're gonna do some Stardew. I just got a barn, so whatever streamer you want farm animals named after, you better come hang out. Yeah.
Wonderful. Evelyn.
You can find me everywhere, Evelyn sometimes, but most of the time you can catch me on Twitch or Tumblr. Those are the two best places to go. Twitch, gonna be just keeping playing Breath of the Wild. Still going. Once that's over, maybe we'll do Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe we'll do something else. But it's gonna take us a while to get through Breath of the Wild, so don't hold your breath.
And you can find me when I'm not at the Magic Academy. I am GMing one more session of this game. And then I am also in Odyssey, and I will be participating in Hobbits for a Cause. Please don't miss out on either of those. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock Central is Odyssey of the Dragon Lord Session 4, and Saturday at 12 p.m. Central is our first Hobbits for a Cause stream. So very excited. You can also find me on TikTok. That's where I met Sphinx and many of you, actually pretty much all of you except for Evelyn and Lily Pandas. But I do a bunch of TikTok stuff, and I do cosplays and all stuff. And I also stream on Twitch. I stream dating sims and games with dating mechanics. You can find me at the Tipsy Tiger. You can also find me on Coffee and Start Playing. I run this world for people if you want custom one-shots. Like, literally, I don't plop you in a pre-made thing. I make you a new one. That is what I do. If that's something you're interested in, please check me out. Other than
They
that,
are amazing.
oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely amazing.
Highly recommend.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. And please check out these lovely players. Continue to keep abreast of the academy. And also, if you want to join the team, maybe you should fill out a form to become a mod. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Remember to be kind and to love each other and to grab those raid emotes as we raid to Gnome Ann today. We will see you again soon. It'll be okay, I promise.
Ah! The raid commands are so fast!
They are very fast.
Sorry.
All right.